We've all been there. Someone raises their voice in a meeting, an email comes off a little too strong, or a client throws out a cutting remark that makes your stomach drop. Hostile conversations aren't just uncomfortable, they are costly. In fact, 85% of employees, they deal with conflict at work. 25% say that it leads to outright conflict avoidance. What's worse is that the American Institute of Stress found that workplace conflict and stress cost US companies over $300 billion annually. And that's in absenteeism, turnover, and lost productivity. But here's the good news here. You don't need a PhD in psychology to shift that energy. By the end of this video, you will have 3 simple science-backed scripts that diffuse tension and transform those combatants into true collaborators. I know that's hard to believe, but hi, I'm Jennifer. I'm a coach and consultant helping high achievers elevate their performance and build resilience, emotional intelligence, and performance clarity in the moments that matter most. So the first script that I would like to suggest here is help me understand what is most important to you here. So when tempers flare, people want one thing. They want to feel like they're being heard. Neuroscience shows that when someone feels understood, their amygdala, that fight or flight center, it starts to calm down and rational problem solving switches back on. Instead of defending yourself, invite them to share the priorities. You'll not only cool the fire, but you'll also surface hidden motivations. Suddenly, it creates that environment that it's not a you versus them, it's you with them against this problem. So it brings in that collaboration because you're asking for them to be involved. A second script you might want to try is saying something like, we both want the same outcome, right? This little phrase works like a reset button. If I could get that out, right? By highlighting shared goals, you reframe the dynamic from adversarial to cooperative. And research from Harvard's program on negotiation shows that emphasizing common ground, it increases cooperation by up to 70%, even in really high conflict negotiations. So whether it's hitting a deadline, keeping a client happy, or maintaining team morale, find the overlap, align on it out loud, and watch the hostility lose its steam. A third script I'd like to share is saying something like, here's what I can do. What would you suggest from your side, right? So it sounds like you're digging and diving right in, but what do you expect? What are you looking for? In a nice way of saying that. So hostile conversations often spiral because people feel powerless, right? Sometimes you get in a conversation and they're hostile just because they feel like their back is against the wall. But by offering a proactive step and inviting their input, you balance control and collaboration. This isn't caving in. You need to get that in your mind. But it's modeling assertiveness and openness. And studies show that when employees feel that sense of agency, that workplace conflicts are resolved, believe it or not, 36% faster. So you create buy-in and the other person shifts from attacking you to becoming more engaging, and also brings down the noise, the drama, and that stress feeling, right? So why even use these scripts? Why can these scripts work for you? First of all, they lower the other person's defensiveness, the way that they feel, right? Active listening and validation reduces emotional reactivity. They also reframe the battle. Shared goals turn adversaries into allies. And they also restore agency. Options and collaboration, they rebuild trust and momentum. conflict isn't going anywhere. Sorry, but it's just not. 60% of workers say that it directly impacts their mental health as well. So when you think about it, it's impacting everything around you, right? If you think about stress, it impacts our health, our well-being, our day, makes us crazy in our minds sometimes, right? But armed with the right language, you can transform hostile conversations from productivity drains into moments of connection, leadership, and trust building. The takeaway here is this: hostility thrives in silence. It also thrives in defensiveness or blame. So that's where it lies, and you need to take away a lot of those layers. And sometimes you can help by just the words that you use. So when you use intentional scripts, intentional words, like the 3 I mentioned here today, you don't just end the argument, you set the stage for long-term collaboration and influence. And those are the people that they remember how you handled things. So when other difficult situations come up, not that you want to be in difficult situations, but when you are in leadership, sometimes you're looking for an ally or someone you can trust or work with to get through some problems, and you may be just that person to help out. So what are some scripts that you have used to transition a really challenging conversation to one that gets results? Let me know in the comments. I would love to hear some of your suggestions. And if some of these scripts help, if it's something that you want to hear more of, let me know. If there's any topics you would like to hear on this channel, I'd love to dig in and provide that information to you. And if you found this helpful, please consider subscribing, please consider sharing, and we will see you all next time.